of 4.0. I have honored with a gold medal from Delta Mu Delta International Honor Society, and I have been working with 4 different research professors as a graduate research assistantship during my course. And then I do have a 7+ years of work experience. Right now, I'm currently doing my PhD in the University of Cumberland, and I have an issue with this H1B lottery, right? Because I've been keep applying from past 4 years. It haven't got picked up in the lottery. So right now I'm thinking I have like these 2 options. So either to quit my job and join in a very reputed university for my PhD course and do as a full-time PhD student, which helps me and support me for a faster and easier green card processing, or continue as a part-time PhD student along with my work, and see how it goes. So that's why I wanted your help and your guidance to see like what is good and which is a better way to go and so forth.
Okay. So just let me correct you. You are doing a part-time PhD right now.
Right now it's a full-time, but it's a kind of a hybrid course with the University of Cumberland.
Okay. No, what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
you don't have to be physically there.
That's correct. Yeah. So it's like only 2 weekends every semester we have to go to the school, but due to COVID, everything is online.
Right.
So now I'm doing my CPT and also I'm doing my PhD both.
Okay. And are you at the same time, are you currently on H1 and working at some company? Is that true too?
No, I'm in CPT. So that's the issue, right? I haven't got my H1B yet. I've been applying from past 4 years, but it haven't got picked up in the lottery. So I'm still in my F1 CPT.
Okay.
I'm working and also I'm doing my PhD program. Okay.
So if I understand your question, because I can't hear you very well, what you're saying is, what I'm assuming that you are trying your best to stay in this country, and for that you are trying these different things, going through PhD or whatnot. Is that make sense, or I'm missing something?
So I would say like 60% it's for the green card, and 40% it's on my own interest, because as I said, I have very good academic records with my masters, with working with my research professors, with my 4.2 GPA. So I have a very good academic record as well. So I want to make sure it helps in both the ways, not just for my visa processing, but also for like a knowledge base and to improve my personal career and so forth.
Right. Okay. So, there are 2 aspects of this question. One is from immigration perspective, right? If you listen to some of my other videos, I always say if you have an Indian passport, then the easiest way for you to get a green card is if you have a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's hands down. Masters won't help. At the same time, I will also tell you that it doesn't mean that having a PhD makes it very easy, because you want to have certain credentials towards it.
Mm-hmm.
What I meant by that is, like, for example, if you just have a PhD degree and you think that it will be easy to get a green card, that's not the case.
Okay.
Because PhD plus what credentials you have, because what happens is, actually there are 2 things to it. I will tell you about it. So let's say, for example, if you have a PhD and you are working for a company who is willing to sponsor a green card, okay, then it's easy. It's not hard. But if you have a PhD and you are planning to apply on your own, then it would be extremely difficult if you don't have extra credentials.
Got it.
So what I'm saying is, that means you have to have PhD from a good university, or you have to have published papers. You must be really excellent if you're planning to do your own. That's what I did. But if you have a PhD and if you're working, let's say Tesla or Google, and if they are willing to sponsor your green card, then the extra credential doesn't matter that much. But it depends on the company. Most of the companies that I am aware of, whether you are a PhD or master's, because they want you to keep float on your H1 because it expires, I think, after 5-6 years. They sponsor your green card on EB2 category, which has.
Okay.
What I'm saying is why it's easy for PhD students to get a green card is only if they apply on EB1 category.
Okay.
Because EB1 is like the prime category, and PhD students are, I would say, eligible to apply under that category. That makes it much faster. So I have heard this, and I know like a lot of my friends and family members who are in that stage, and I think the current wait for EB2 is like 70 years or 80 years or something like that.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can talk to an immigration lawyer much more than me, but this is in general, I'm telling you, this would be the scenario. Immigration lawyer probably will tell you nooks and corners, but I would say in a bigger scheme of picture, this is the case.
Okay.
And, yeah. So if you have a PhD, and as I said, if one of you can open USGI's website and you just look at the green card category, you will see EB2 category, which I just told you, where most of the masters and undergrads and companies apply. But EB1 category and then divides into two parts. I think EB1A and EB1B. EB1A is when you apply on your own. That is the category that I applied on my own, right? And I got it like 6 months or so. But EB2 category is when the company is willing to apply. But what I have heard is that companies are very reluctant to apply under those categories now. That never used to be a case. Like I have friends who got under EB2 category, EB1B, which is like when the company applies. I have friends who got into that category, but I've heard now it's a little difficult, but doesn't mean that. But again, it's totally depend on company and their policy.
Got it. So let me kind of give a brief of our company, because right now the company which I'm working, it's not a huge company. The total strength is like less than 30, but they are willing to apply green card or whatever ways possible for me to get hold in the same company. So they're willing to do.
Yeah. So Rahul,
I'm just wondering if
that's
it's
what I'm
gonna
saying.
help. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying, Rahul, is when you say they are willing to apply, but most of the companies apply under EB2.
Okay.
Which has no meaning.
So, is there any specific reason why they are not willing to apply for EB2?
I don't know. That I don't know. But I heard like it's because even for them to justify under EB1B, they have to do a lot of work. It's expensive. So that I heard that are some reasons that because as I said, those if you go under USGS website, you can see the qualification that that somebody has to justify just to be on EB1 category. Like for example, EB1A category, if you look at, they say you have to have a Nobel Prize or Oscar or Olympic gold medal, or then if you have all those, you have to qualify these 10 criteria, which are very difficult to match.
I get it.
For someone who has not done a lot of prior work, so it becomes extremely challenging.
Okay.
Ahmed, if I ask you this, you did mention that you have applied under EB1A by yourself. What entail?
You say again?
When you said that you applied on your own for the EB1A, what does it entail? I mean, can you give a little bit information on what does that detail goes into it? Means what does that mean?
So as I said, if you can Google that, if you look at the page right now as I am talking, you can see the criterias, right? So one of the biggest reasons that I was able to get it, I would say, because I was working at a national lab at the time, which comes under like a national security. So that justifies. And then I had a lot of credentials also, like I had extremely in that time, I have very good citations, and I had almost like 12 recommendations from all over the world, I would say. And it's just not me. I have friends. I know at least two people, again, both from India, and my friends who applied under that category, but they were extremely good. They did a lot of work under PhDs, and I'm not saying they got it right after PhD. In my case, I had to wait after PhD. I had to wait for, I would say, 2.5 years to build up my CV before I can even think of applying. So just to let you know. So what I'm saying is, as I said, just go in USGS and look at the criteria. If you have the web page, you can clearly see those categories are very highly sought out in that sense. And if you to go and talk to a lawyer, I would say in my case, when I spoke to a lawyer at the time, I want to make sure that the lawyer is very comfortable in applying under that category. Because if they say we are not sure, then there is no point in applying with, otherwise you create another problem.
Got it.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you have to finish a PhD, but when you are doing a PhD, I want to tell you, just you have to be extremely good. You have to be, so just to give you an example, you have to have like at least 10, 15 published papers in a very extremely reputed journal, not like just in conference or something. Those papers have been cited very high and so forth. And this is only when you are applying on your own. But what I'm saying, if your company is applying, still those things are valid, but little bit on a moderate side. But as I said, the companies, lawyers, and those are willing to do it. Because if you go to a company, just says, I have a PhD, can apply for EB1B category. Trust me, they won't do it.
Got it.
Or if they do it, then it will be totally on you. Because if it got if it's got called, or if it's what they say, it is denied, then you have to go back. There is no point then.
Okay.
Amit, in few of your videos, we were following your videos a lot, and we heard that there is something about postdoc. So what people qualify under? So Samir Rahul is a person into IT major, and he is doing some in computer science and his PhD too. Would a postdoc be a criteria for a person under an IT major?
I didn't understand the question very well, but what I'm hearing is you're saying, what is the criteria for a postdoc? Is that?
Yeah, would a IT person qualify for a postdoc?
Yeah, anybody can qualify. You have to have a PhD. Okay. Yeah. Because postdoc is after postdoctorate. You know what I mean? It's if you're working in an academic environment for quite a long, after you with a professor on some research project and so forth. Because let me tell you, your experience in a company doesn't count towards getting a green card as important as the research work or something that you are creating a value, a new thing. You know what I mean? It's like not just going to a job and applying. That won't help that much. You have to have a value. What value did you created that changed something? That qualifies for a green card. Again, I'm talking about those prime categories because that's the only way. Because one thing is you have to have a PhD, so that's like a first step. But it just not doing that, you have to add something more to it. And as I said, just go to, I'm going to say it again, just go to USGS website and look at those categories and what are the qualifications, what are the eligibility criteria, and then you will realize the severity of it. And just don't imagine like I'm going to get it tomorrow. If you are planning for that, you have to work really hard for next 7 years, and then you will be a good candidate to apply. And who knows what is the criteria at that time. You know what I mean? So just I'm not trying to scare you, but I was scared in my time because I was about the time that either I had to make a decision to go back or stay here, and I applied. As I said, and just not me, like I know few of my friends who were in the same boat, and they at the end they did apply and got it. But this was like 2004.
Got you.
Mm.
Another thing about
2014, sorry.
Okay. Another thing about university's qualification, I mean, is that a separate thing a USCIS would consider? Suppose, say, for example, there might be like a list of universities that USCIS would consider as like the top notch. And
Having a PhD from like Stanford, MIT, of course, gonna make a difference. You know what I mean? But if you're doing a PhD from University of ABCD, nobody knows, then it's of course is difficult to justify. Because as I said, the more you have to work to answer those questions which USGS is looking for, the more you have to do. But if you are from MIT, you don't have to justify things. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to justify. They know you are good because you are one of those few people. And then, of course, working there, it's going to come with certain credentials and so forth. And that's why I'm saying that life becomes much easier in that sense if you do already a lot of groundwork beforehand. Like, for example, if you publish 10 papers in a journal which nobody knows versus just one paper in a journal which is like #1, because let me tell you, when I prepared my application, you have to really write that, like what journal you published, what is the ranking of that journal, because that's how it is defined. There is no like a shortcut on that. You have to really write that, and you have to bring a proof, like how do you know this journal is #1? So you go to a journal ranking website, you print out and say, hey, this is the journal and that has to have a very valid source. So it is not a joke. Like there's no shortcut in there. Like you can't say just, hey, this is a good journal. How it's a good journal? Because you don't want them to come back and re-question you.
Got you. Another one. This is related to. So I'm
not an immigration lawyer, but I'm telling you through my experience. You know what I mean?
Oh, I get you.
And a lot of experiences that I had, not only with me, but my friends who got it and who did not get it.
Yeah, I hear you. So what is your suggestion for somebody like who are just starting out? So going into we are definitely University of Cumberland is not such a good school. We are moving away from that to moving to University of Michigan or Oakland University. There are a couple of them in Michigan that we are looking into. So would that be a better idea to skip the full-time CPT, the day one CPT from the universities, or do a full-time PhD, dedicating your all time in there and giving your complete best?
I wouldn't want to preach, but my feeling is like, if you are doing a PhD, do it full time. And the reason is very simple, because I don't think a part-time PhD will qualify. And again, you have to bring a lot of justification there, why this is a part-time and this and that. And as I said, if again, the question that Rahul posed, I was interested. I'm not sure like what type of PhD people can do as a part-time, because you can't do much, but as a full-time, you can really get a lot of value out of it. And, as I said, PhD is not just about like undergrad where you pass a course and you get a degree, because that's how, if you're going to do your PhD, I don't think you can really create a value there, but I don't think it's going to help you to do something, because as I said, it has to you make. So one of the things as I told you is one of the biggest criteria is in, at the end, because your end goal is like, I want to get a green card, right? If the end goal, if you look at it, you need recommendations letter. So why would somebody write a recommendation letter for you? And the recommendation letter has to be, as I'm telling you, like, this guy should be able to write like, you are the best, there is no second substitute. Why they will write that to you? Just by doing a part-time PhD? I don't think anybody will do that. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, you have to dedicate yourself so that the other person who is willing to write a recommendation letter, because people are very honest here, they don't write garbage. Nobody's going to write if you don't do something, because they will be in trouble too. So they have to be very, very, you have to, be involved, so the other person can see that, how dedicated you are, and then only they will be willing to write it down. So as I said to you again, And this is very valid even if a company is trying to sponsor a green card for you, because you will need again recommendation letters from people whom you have worked so far. But if your advisor doesn't have a good feeling about you, or you haven't done a great work on your research, I don't think they will be willing to write that too. So that means there is no point doing a PhD then, because it's not going to help you getting a green card. It's not. So you have to understand that what are you planning to do? Are you just trying to get a PhD and skip things, and because at the end it's not going to help you. I can tell you that for sure. But if you are saying that I want to keep my interest, I want to enjoy it, I want to work hard, and I want to create a value so that I can ask this person one day to write a recommendation letter for me, then yeah, of course that's how it's going to work. And by the way, as I said, this is very true even a companies apply, because even a company as lawyer is going to apply, that lawyer is going to ask, can you give me like 5 recommendation letters? And if your advisor is going to say, sorry, I can't write because you did not do a good job, I never saw you, you're a part-time student, I can't say how good you are, I'm not sure that if the lawyer can help you too. So that will be your job. I mean, the lawyers are going to just put your application and give it to USGS. Your job will be to prepare the application. Trust me. I mean, I can't tell you, I had to put everything for 3, 4, 5 months, actually, to be honest. Like, it's not an easy task to put all this paperwork. And I don't know how difficult, because, another thing I will tell you is things have not become easier with immigration. It has become harder and harder, right? So in my case, in 2014, where it took me a year, I spoke to a few people actually who were in the same position as I am now, pretty good. And they were saying that right now, even in this case, they are pushed by more than a year or 2. So if you're thinking of applying after you finish your PhD, then I would say you never know what will be the criteria at that time. So make sure you do your job properly right now. That's my strong advice to you guys.
That is very helpful, Amit. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, there is no shortcut here. So you have to go through a process where everybody is in line, and hopefully you will get it. That's how it's going to work. But but I will tell you another thing, that if you're doing your PhD, because one day it will help you a green card, not by interest, I'm not sure how far you can go also. So you at the end of some point of the time, you will get extremely frustrated, because that's how a PhD doesn't work. You have to put yourself out there, and it doesn't, as I said, PhD doesn't guarantee you a job or a good job or a good salary too. It's just like, yeah, or definitely it helps getting a green card for sure. Because that's the first thing, because as a master's, there is no point you will get it. It will be very difficult. You will find, you can talk to a lot of people who have a master's degree or undergrad, and they are waiting for the last 20, 25, 30 years.
Okay.
One question to add to this full-time PhD. So we have an option to do CPT along with full-time PhD. So what is your thought about it?
Again, depends on what you want to do. Like, what's the objective here?
So I'm just thinking, like, can I do a full-time PhD and then also parallelly do my work in a CPT, or should I just quit my job and just get into a just PhD and not any other jobs or so forth?
Yeah, but again, I said, what you're trying to do here? Are you trying to earn money, or what's your objective?
I'm trying to balance finance, and also I want to keep my finance stuff also going, and then do my PhD parallel.
Yeah, you can do that if it's legal, but what at the end, what you're looking for, that's what I'm saying from last 15-20 minutes, right? I mean, there is a saying called work and life balance. It's a myth. You have to either work, or you have to live a life, because you can't become a CEO by having fun. So my point here is, what you're trying to do here, you have to put hard work somewhere. If you say, I'm going to do half this year, your cake will be half cooked at the end. So my point here is, again, what's the objective there? The objective here is to, okay, maybe I will get my PhD, but I want to live my life. Yeah, of course. Right.
I get it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is like I mean, if you ask me, and I don't give this advice to anyone, don't do PhD if you're not interested, because you will be frustrated. And part-time PhD, it can take forever. I can tell you that for sure. PhD is such thing that I personally feel, if it's not like, if it's science and technology, you have to do full time. It's not like literature or something that you can, probably that also need dedication. I shouldn't say that, but it has to be done full time, in the sense that you are dedicated to a particular topic, and you, as you said, you have to create a value. I'm not sure that when you start working, like I'm doing my part-time MBA at Ohio State right now, and I can tell you a difference, because as like you, I have done my undergrad, master's, and PhD. My part-time MBA is like having fun, to be honest. I don't learn too much as I did in my master's, even when I did my master's, because all I'm doing is like I don't have time to read, so I just do it and just pass my exams, and maybe I learned something. But with family and work and everything, I am not sure like how much I'm doing. But definitely I see full-time, the students who are doing full-time MBA. I have a cousin who did full-time MBA from Duke. I mean, you dive into it, you're very involved in the work, you learn something there, but I'm not sure how much I'm learning. So that's the
I
reason.
agree. It makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm not sure like part-time, how does that gonna work? How is that going to help you? And as I said, at the end, because you're trying to create a value from there, like your value would be, okay, one day I will get a green card. But if you do it in rush and you just submitted it or finished it, that would be a waste of your PhD. I can tell you that for sure. It's not going to help you, because because the type of things, I mean, as I said, I'm not an immigration lawyer, but and lawyers lie too. I'm not lying. So that's the other thing too. I'm telling you very clean and clear things that's going to help or not. Because if you have a very good, what do you call? If you have a very good CV and credentials, every lawyer will say, yeah, we will do it. And in my case, actually, the lawyer was so confident that he said, if you don't get it, I will reimburse your money back. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You is like if your case is very weak, lawyers will be reluctant to take, and they will be, either they ask you for more money or they won't give you guarantee and things like that.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You got more questions? I mean, I actually documented a couple of them, and Amit almost answered most of them for me, and I documented those as well. You got more?
I think I'm good as well. I think we covered almost all the questions.
Amit, another piece of advice is that, down the road, once we get disconnected from this call, can we reach out to you offline and if we got more questions or something of that effect?
Yeah, I have some time. If you want, I can disconnect this call, send you a new Zoom link, just call back, okay?
Yeah, we can start the recording if there is something confidential that you just want.